Alright, so imagine you took 4 countries that kind of hate each other and then made them play on the same team. Now give them red shirts, fly them halfway across the world, and tell them they've got 5 weeks to beat the best teams in the southern hemisphere. Sounds like a bad travel vlog. Nope, that's the British and Irish Lions. And this is their entire chaotic, legendary, heartbreak-riddled, and sometimes glorious history, I guess. It all started in 1888. No, seriously, a bunch of British cricketers led by Alfred Shaw and Arthur Shrewsbury decided to create a rugby side to tour New Zealand and Australia. They weren't even officially sanctioned by the Rugby Football Union, the RFU, just a bunch of upper class blokes with money, a taste for sport, and absolutely no idea what they were about to start. They played 35 matches over nearly 6 months, only 19 were rugby, the rest, Australian rules football. The team travelled by boat, train and horse-drawn carriage. It was more of an expedition and a sporting tour. The first official tour came in 1891, this time under the patronage of the Rugby Football Union. They went to South Africa and won all 3 tests. The team didn't have a fixed identity yet, sometimes being called the British Isles team. The idea of including Irish players was baked in early, though the politics of identity were always complicated. By 1950, the team settled on red jerseys to represent all 4 nations. Red for Wales, blue socks for Scotland, white shorts for England, and a green emblem for Ireland. A patchwork identity, but it worked. In the early 1900s, the Lions were a curiosity more than a competitive threat. The 1904 tour to Australia was successful on paper, winning most matches, but was hardly headline news back home. Rugby wasn't the commercial powerhouse it would become. The 1910 tour to South Africa was the first to include a manager and a dedicated coaching setup, reflecting a shift towards professionalism. At least in attitude, not payment, but results were mixed. World War I put a pause on everything, no tours until 1924, and the interwar years were erratic. Logistics were brutal. Players spent months away from home, often unpaid, losing their day jobs while competing on rough pitches with minimal medical support. Still, the spirit endured. The 1938 tour to South Africa was a grueling affair, and the Lions lost the Test series 2-1. But it set a precedent. Every tour felt like a chance to prove that 4 nations could become one. The 1955 tour to South Africa marked the beginning of something special. Led by Robin Thompson and featuring the electric Cliff Morgan at fly half, the Lions played fast, expansive rugby that captured hearts. The Test series ended 2-2, but it was hailed as a triumph of spirit and style. Fast forward to 1971. The Lions went to New Zealand, a place where Northern Hemisphere teams go to get humbled. But this team, coached by the visionary Carwyn James, they were different. Barry John, the so-called king, put strings at 10. Gareth Edwards and Mike Gibson were unstoppable. The pack, led by John Dawes, was clinical. They won the series 2-1 with 1 draw. It remains the only Lions series victory in New Zealand. Then came 1974, South Africa during apartheid. Political backdrop aside, the tour became legendary. Willie John McBride was the leader. His famous 99 call was a tactical decision to deter on-field violence. If one Lion was targeted, everyone retaliated. It led to one of the most dominant tours in Lions history. 22 games, 21 wins, 1 draw, not a single loss. The Springboks were stunned. The 1980s were a struggle. In 1983, the Lions returned to New Zealand and were overwhelmed 4-0 in the Test series. The All Blacks were just too fast, too strong, too well drilled. The Lions, cobbled together without proper prep time, looked like a relic. Then came 1989, the tour to Australia. The Lions lost the first Test badly, but coach Ian McGeechan and captain Finlay Calder turned it around. They won the next 2 tests to seal the series. Gavin Hastings' boot, Jeremy Guscott's running lines, this was a side that rediscovered pride. The 1993 tour to New Zealand was competitive but ultimately unsuccessful. The Lions lost the series 2-1, but was also the last amateur era tour. By the time rugby turned professional in 1995, everything was about to change. 1997 was the rebirth. South Africa, newly readmitted to international rugby post-apartheid, was a formidable opponent. The Lions, led by Martin Johnson and coached by McGeechan, embraced a no-frills, hard-edged game plan. The first test in Cape Town was a shocker, 18-25 to the Lions. The second test was even more dramatic. Guscott's drop goal in the dying minutes sealed the series.
Dawson, have they got the self-belief? It's
The third test was a dead rubber, but the Lions had already made history. 2001, Australia. The Lions won the first test in Brisbane 29-13. O'Driscoll scored a wonder try.
Straight through goes O'Driscoll. All the way. A shocking miss by Matthew Burke. And a third try for the Lions.
Jason Robinson lit up the turf.
Here's Robinson. He's around Latham. Oh, what a sensational start.
But the Wallabies fought back. In the second test, George Gregan and Joe Roth tore the Lions apart. The third test in Sydney, Johnny Wilkinson was off his game, and Australia edged it 29-23. Series lost 2-1. 2005 New Zealand. Expectations were high, reality hit hard. The Lions were dismantled in all three tests. The first test will always be remembered for the spear tackle on Brian O'Driscoll, just seconds in. No punishment, out for the tour. The Lions never recovered. Dan Carter put on a masterclass in the second test, scoring 33 points. Total domination. 2009 saw the Lions return to South Africa with pride on the line. The first test in Durban was brutal, physicality off the charts. The Springboks won 26-21, but the Lions showed resilience. The second test in Pretoria was even more intense. The Lions led with minutes to go, only for Morn State to slot a 15-meter penalty and break their hearts.
This for the series win. It's got the distance. Steyn! Morne Steyn has won the game for South Africa.
28-25. Series lost. They won the third test convincingly, but it was consolation. 2013, Australia again. The first test was tight. Lions win 23-21, thanks to Lee Halfpenny's boot and George North's legendary solo try. The second test, Wallabies strike back 16-15. Missed kicks taunt the Lions. Then the decider, Gatland drops O'Driscoll, picks Jamie Roberts and unleashes a backline full of power. The Lions destroy Australia 41 points to 16. Series win. Statement made. 2017 New Zealand. First test in Auckland. The All Blacks too strong. 30 points to 15. Rico Ioane announces himself. Second test in Wellington. Sonny Bill Williams sees red. Lions capitalise and scrape a 24 points to 21 win. Decider in Eden Park ends 15-all. Nobody really knew what to feel. It was surreal, but the Lions have matched the best team in the world. 2021, Lions go back to South Africa, but it's different. No fans, no atmosphere, just bio bubbles and daily testing. First test, Lions win 22 points to 17. Physical dominance, smart tactics. Courtney Lawes was a beast. Duan van der Merwe, relentless. Second test, Springboks flipped the script, winning 27 points to 9, a total arm wrestle. Cheslin Colby steps up. Faf de Klerk controls the tempo. Third test, tense, ugly, a kicking battle. Morn Steyn, now 37, comes off the bench and does what he did in 2009. Nails the series winning penalty. 1916 to South Africa. The tour faced criticism, too conservative, lacked flair, but given the circumstances, it still added to the Lions' mythos. 2025, the Lions are back, and this time, Australia awaits. But it's a new era. Andy Farrell is the head coach, first ever Ireland manager in charge. He's got credibility, vision, and experience. His coaching in 2023 led Ireland to a Grand Slam. He knows how to unify a team. Captain? Maro Itoje, one of the most dominant locks in world rugby. Smart, vocal, imposing. The man lives for the big moments. The squad is looking sharp. Josh van der Fleer brings world-class breakdown work and relentless energy. Finn Russell and Marcus Smith provide creativity at fly half. Hugo Keenan is a rock at fullback, and there's excitement about the next generation. Guys like Finn Smith and especially Henry Pollock. The 20-year-old open side from Northampton who's tearing up the Premiership with breakdown steals and fearless tackles. The team has depth, experience and explosive talent. But caution, the Lions lost their warm-up game to Argentina in Dublin. Sloppy defence, poor discipline and a lack of cohesion. Australia meanwhile are on the rise. Under new leadership, their squad has rediscovered belief. The Super Rugby sides are finally competitive. Players like Rob Valentini and Matt Faisler are electric. They've also built up a forward pack that can dominate set pieces. So yes, the Lions could win this series, but don't expect a walkover. This one could be a classic. With that all said and done, it's been your boy John Talks Rugby, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure to click on the screen now to see how this American front rower almost won World Rugby Player of the Year. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.